So I apologize in advance. My laptop is a little fickle, so let us all cross our fingers right now that I do not lose reception. Got it. Because something is going on. My laptop is named Gloria Jean. She's an old Buick, and we have to talk to her to make sure that she stays on board with us. So who we are, like we said before, we are Lillian Sheila from the Department of Revenue's Talent and Acquisition team. Our Department of Revenue employs about 1,600 employees throughout the state of Colorado. We have several different divisions within the Department of Revenue. So that is a misconception. We are not just tax. We have motor vehicle, we have lottery, we have our specialized business group, as well as marijuana and our executive director's office. We offer a plethora of benefits. We have 10 paid holidays. We have 12 days of accrued paid vacation and sick leave. There's also some perks. Sometimes the good and gracious governor of the state of Colorado affords us administrative leave. A couple of weeks ago when we had the heavy snow, we got an email in the middle of the night that said, stay home, don't go on the street, don't be on the streets. And even those that work remotely, we were also given the opportunity that if we lived within that environment where there was heavy snow, that we did not have to report to work. So sometimes those are different perks that we have. We have great benefits when it comes to medical, dental, vision, and wellness. There's a lot of different incentives if you enroll in some of the preventive care maintenance opportunities that they have. We have flexible spending accounts, health savings accounts, where dollars, pre-tax dollars, so this is money that's put into an account before taxes even come out to help you with some of the expenses that you may have with healthcare and childcare. We also have employee discounts. Right now, what's big for us is the student loan forgiveness program. There's an office that we've connected with within the state that helps if you have been a government employee or served in public service occupations, that you are afforded a waiver for forgiveness on your student loans. We also have counseling services. Mental health is very important. We are very keen on employing a good, healthy work and lifestyle balance. So we do offer counseling services to help you navigate through these new changing things that we have in regards to our mental health and our work and life balance. We also, something that has come back that is good too, when it comes to public transportation, we now, in partnership with the RTD, have an Eco Pass. So that Eco Pass is if you live on any of the routes that the RTD services, regardless if you work from home or you work in the office in a state facility, you can sign up and can receive a pass for free bus rides.
Mm-hmm. Yes, lots of great benefits. So next is our values. So part of DOR and as a public employee, we have these values that we stick to when we're helping the residents of Colorado. So I'm going to read these off. So service, we are dedicated to helping the residents and visitors of our state and our fellow employees to thrive. Teamwork, we work collaboratively with one another towards a common goal, breaking down silos and building mutual trust. Accountability, we are responsible stewards of public resources, follow through on our individual and shared commitments and move past setbacks to achieve goals. Integrity, we do the right thing, acting with honesty, transparency, and strong ethical principles. Respect, we communicate, listen, and act with high regard for others, sharing information in a constructive manner and treating others with dignity and grace. So again, as a public servant to the residents of Colorado, these are the values that we keep in place to make sure that we are doing our best with taxpayer money. So now we're going to go into the nitty-gritty of applying for a job at the state of Colorado. So we're going to watch this short video, And let me know if the sound does not work.
Hello, we are so happy you're exploring career opportunities with the state of Colorado. This video provides a brief overview of how to apply for a job with the state of Colorado. We hope to help you be an informed candidate when searching and applying for state jobs. Let's get started. If you haven't already done so, you can begin your job search by going to the State of Colorado Job Opportunities website at www.governmentjobs.com/careers/Colorado. Here, you will be able to find and apply for jobs. The state makes it easy for you to stay updated on perfect opportunities when you sign up for job interest alerts using job interest cards. The option to sign up can be found in the menu on the left side of your screen. Signing up is easy. Select an unlimited number of areas that interest you and complete your contact information. It's a good idea to keep your selections wide-ranging. As recruiters throughout the state post open positions, jobs that match your areas of interest will be emailed to you. When you receive an alert you're interested in, be sure to check for the closing date right away so that you don't miss an opportunity. Perform a basic job search by using the search bar. You can also perform an advanced search and filter jobs by location, department, or estimated annual salary. When looking at job announcements, it's important to note the closing date. Some jobs may be open for several days or weeks, while others may be open continuously or until filled. Click the print function at the top of the announcement to find important details about the position. You can contact the agency's recruiter with questions. Contact information is located near the bottom of the announcement. If you need an accommodation to apply, information is found under ADAAA accommodations. Applicants must demonstrate how they meet the minimum qualifications of a position in the work experience section of the application. Minimum qualifications are the minimum level of experience, education, or knowledge required for a job. It is critical that you help us understand if you meet these requirements by being very detailed. Candidates who do not meet minimum qualifications will not be considered. Again, it's important that you use the work experience section of your application to clearly explain how you meet qualifications. Please review job announcements carefully, as each job posting is unique. Preferred qualifications identified in a posting let you know what additional experiences, knowledge, skills, or abilities are preferred for the position you are interested in. Like minimum qualifications, you'll need to clearly explain in the job history section how you meet these preferred qualifications. Preferred qualifications often help determine applicants for interviews. Please don't rely on your resume to speak for you. Use the job history section to tell us why you're perfect for the job. The comparative analysis process involves a review and rating of all the information you submit with your application materials. It is extremely important to document your education, experience, minimum qualifications, and preferred qualifications as outlined in the job announcement in the work experience section of the application. It is important to thoroughly answer all supplemental questions if requested. Any attachments such as cover letters, resumes, or other documents that support your experience may be reviewed. Please be complete and thoughtful. Your answers may be rated based on your writing ability as well as the content of your answer. Keep in mind that if you do not submit a complete application, you will not move forward in the hiring process. Make sure to follow the steps listed in each individual job announcement. Each job announcement lists the supporting documents that must be submitted in order for your application to be considered. If you are a veteran, please be sure to attach your DD-214. Qualifying veterans, and in some cases spouses, may be eligible for hiring preference with the state of Colorado. Finally, your application will need to be reviewed and certified by you. Once you submit your application, you will not be able to edit it. So please make sure you review your application carefully before you submit. If you made a mistake or forgot something important, you can complete a second application. The state will always take the most recent application submitted. All of the information you complete during the application process is saved. You can access all incomplete and submitted applications by logging into your account and clicking Applications. You can complete applications you started and check the status of applications you've submitted. What happens next? Typically, once a job announcement closes, the hiring agency will first evaluate state residency requirements. For most positions, there is a constitutional requirement to be a current Colorado resident. If there is an exception to the residency requirement, it will be clearly stated in the job announcement. Following a review of qualifications, top candidates are chosen for interviews. Given state rules and statutes, there may be limits on the number of candidates for interviews. Throughout the process, the hiring agency will keep you posted on the status of your application. The timeline for the hiring process can vary depending on the position and agency. Any questions about the status of your application or the process should be directed to the recruiter for that posting. Thank you again for exploring careers and taking the time to learn about how to apply with the state of Colorado. We look forward to you visiting www.governmentjobs.com/careers/Colorado.
All right, great. Oops. Didn't mean-
Hello.
All right, so now we're going to do a how to apply demo. So first I'm going to ask, how many of you have ever applied to a job at the state of Colorado? Has anyone applied to a job there? Here? Nobody. You can use your emoticon to say yes if you did.
I think I did a long time ago, but that was many years ago, probably like 15 years ago.
Okay.
And I didn't get selected because back then the competition was so tough. So I never, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're here to give you tips on how to apply now. So let me share this. Hold on, that's not, this is it. This one. Hold on, there we go. All right, so this is the website for the state of Colorado job opportunities. And actually, you know, if you, you know what, here we go. So this is the homepage for the careers. Here is where you can find out information about our benefits, if you're a veteran. So that has good information on this page. So you'll click search job openings. And so some of this is covered in the video, but I think it's helpful to see it live, and then you can have ask any questions that you might have. So something the video talked about was job interest cards. You'll go to the corner over here, click menu, and you'll see job categories, job interest cards. So like the video was saying, these are categories that you might be interested in to look for work in. So once somebody, so say if you click animal services and we post a job where we click that this would fit under this category, you will get a notification once it is posted. So we recommend choosing more than less. So widen your range. If you want to pick all of them, that's great. Because sometimes, I might consider something like that would fit under animal services, but maybe another person might think, oh, this fits somewhere else, but it may interest you anyway. So that, you could actually click all of these categories and get a notification every time a job was posted. So we highly, highly recommend doing this so that you don't have to go to our website every day to look for a new job. You would get notified. So that's that. So when we get to the job page, here you can search for a specific word if you want. They talked about the closing date here. We're going to filter for the Department of Revenue because that's who we represent, and you want to apply for jobs here, Department of Revenue. So you'll see the listed jobs that we have open right now. So we have 20 jobs, and once you click on the job, let's see, here's this one from Fort Collins. So here's our driver license technician 1 position. We highly recommend that you print the job, like not actually physically print it, but if you click the print button, you'll see that it has more information than what is on the website. So it's kind of strange because it's not intuitive to just print it, but highly recommend printing it so you can read it further, more thoroughly. So it will give you the work address, the salary, when it closes. This is some information about the Department of Revenue. The video we just watched is on here, is linked on here. You'll see the description of the job. So what does this job entail? You'll be looking at driver's licenses, IDs, checking identity, providing information about policies about driver's licenses. And then you'll come down here to what's required. So here are your minimum qualifications. This is what you have to pay attention to see if you're qualified for this position. So this is 1 year of professional work experience in a high volume customer service role. So when we talk about putting detail in your application, those are the things you want to look for. So what is your minimum qualification, experience in high volume customer service, and then what are your preferred qualifications? So preferred qualifications is what is going to make you be at the top. Who is our perfect candidate that has everything we need? They would be checking the list here. So you're going to look here and says, oh, I've worked in this other job that required rules and regulations. Oh, I've had to problem solve before in this other job. I have very strong computer data entry skills in this other job. So you're looking at what the qualifications are, and you're going to add those to your application. So whatever previous employment history that you have, when you're writing down your duties for those jobs, you want to make sure you talk to these things. Because if you just write, I was a customer service agent and I perform customer service, what does that mean? Were you answering phone calls, over 100 calls a day? Did you have to troubleshoot computers? Did you have to enter data? Things like that. So we're asking for a lot of detail pertaining to whatever the qualifications are for this position. So really focus here. So these are the other conditions of employment. And we understand that our template is very long. So this is why we say, make sure you read it thoroughly, read the whole thing so that you understand what's required of this job. Your applicant checklist, this is what is required for you to do. So you're gonna submit your questionnaire and you're gonna complete the application, but also under here is where you would see if you need to provide a resume, a cover letter, a writing sample, anything else. And this can get kind of lost in the announcement. So I want to point it out to make sure you check what is required for the application. So when you scroll further down, we have some other information here about DOR. You'll see your contact. So Sheila here is the HR analyst for this position. So if you have questions, go ahead and email Sheila and say, you know, I don't understand this question, or I don't understand, I need to attach, things like that. So that's a good place to look for your contact. Then at the bottom is your supplemental questionnaire. So here you want, the good thing about printing it too, or even looking on the other page, is that you can prepare your answers to these questions before even applying. So if you want to spend a day or so creating your answers, you could even open up a Word doc and say, okay, I'm going to work on this question. So then you just have it open, you're going to, you know, write your answer and then edit it and, you know, review it again. And then when you feel like it's complete, you could just copy and paste it when you're applying. So for this question, it's asking you, you know, this requires 1 year of high volume customer service. They, you know, from your work experience, please list your prior jobs where you had customer service experience. Don't go and write yes, because that doesn't answer the question. It's asking, where was this experience? So you could list all your jobs. You could just describe all the jobs that you had that had customer service. The more detail you can add to questions, the better, so that we understand what your experience is. So that's the end of that. So let me click another job. One of our admin assistants. So here's like an admin assistant job. So you can also view it here. So you can click questions. But so under descriptions, you go under the minimum qualifications. Oh, 2 years general clerical work. Here we kind of describe what general clerical work is. If you've done these things, great. Make sure you add it to your work history so that we know that you've done these things. And it's great that you have a resume if you add it, but that's not the legal document. We look at the application. So even if your resume has way more information, it doesn't matter to us because we want to see it in the application. That's where you want to put the information. So same here, like you could go to the questions and you can see what these questions are. Like, describe your experience working on a team and what role you played. So don't say I was a good team player. Or even if you feel like you don't have a very specific example of working on a team, think where in your life, maybe you've worked in a team or worked with other people where it is considered a team and you played a role. So when you see that, you're like, oh, well, you know, I've only done independent work. I've never really worked on a team, but this one time I actually had to work with a vendor. So we were kind of a team where we had to communicate with each other and play a role that way. So think about how you could answer this question and put the detail there, because really we want to know what your experience is and what your thought process is. Like, how would you work on a team? So that's an example there. And then what you would do is click apply. And then I think I'm in here, maybe. Hold on. So once you hit apply, you know, it's going to give you red flags if you didn't fill out stuff, which I haven't for this. But, you know, here's where you add your work experience. And it's going to give you the asterisk for what you need. Make sure that if you apply to several jobs, you can reuse the same application, but make sure it's updated. So we have a lot of people who have used a previous application that don't update the end dates. So they have like 4 jobs that don't end. And we're like, well, we know you probably didn't work 4 40-hour jobs at the same time. So what are the end dates? So that is like an attention to detail thing where we're like, okay, so what happened here? You didn't notice. You got to thoroughly look through your application, make sure it all makes sense. If you had several positions, you could clarify that when you're writing what you did. So here's where you would put an end date, you know, if it ended. So in your duty summary, go ahead, bullet like all the little tasks that you did that really speak to the position that you're applying to. Oh, another thing I should say was updating your application, make sure your information is updated. So your address, if it's changed, if your phone number or your email changed, because a lot of times once people reuse, they often don't look at those things. But it's very important to keep your contact information up to date. And so once you get to questions, here's where I said, you know, if you wrote this in a Word doc, all you have to do is copy and paste it into here, and then you're good to go. So I see Brenna. Oh, Brenna had a question. When you save your applications, will the information be saved if you apply? Yes. So you can save like a template application, like, oh, this is going to be my admin template for application. And then once you log in, it'll show you, oh, which template application would you like to use that you've used previously. And if you save it and you don't submit it, you'll actually get an email notification that says, hey, there's this job you started. Are you still interested? You haven't submitted the job. So NeoGov, which is our system here, will tell you or remind you to continue and fill that out. All right, so again, like you could save it and come back to it later, and you will get a reminder that you have not submitted it. So that's it there. If you need accommodations for applying, reach out to the contact that is listed on the posting to ask for accommodations. We also have paper applications, which you would submit to Denver if you're unable to submit it online. Let's see. I think that's all for this, Sheila, unless I'm missing anything. If you can think of anything else.
No, I just want to say, just to piggyback from off what Lily has stated, some key takeaways. Very important. Create your job interest cards. That's going to be key. Click as many of those categories, because the more categories that you have, the more job postings that will be sent to you. That is one feature. Let us work for you. You don't have to do a lot of searching for the job. If you've already created that interest card, we'll send you that notification that said, hey, there's a vacancy that exists. Look at this posting. Make sure you read the job announcements in their entirety. In order to do that, I highly suggest and recommend that you click on that printer icon. That printer icon is very key because it gives you all the details pertaining to that announcement. Make sure you look for the required docs. As Lily said, our job announcements are often very lengthy and has a lot of language, but within the middle of that form, there's always something that says your applicant checklist. please make sure that you look at that. You would be surprised the number of folks that get rejected because they have not submitted a resume or a cover letter, or they didn't complete the supplemental questions. So please make sure you read what's required of you and attach whatever necessary documents that it's asking. If you need a paper application, I do believe you can take this address down. You can still physically go to 1525 Sherman Street, downtown Denver, if you need to get a paper application. I also want to say you can email me or chat me later if I'm misinformed, but I do believe that our DMV locations also have paper applications on site. And another thing, if you don't have a laptop or access to a laptop, most everyone now has a cell phone. Our applications can be completed using mobile technology such as your cell phone.
So I will go back to our demo here. All right, great. Next slide.
So now that you know how to apply, what are you going to apply for? So here are some of our current openings, or what we deem like our hot jobs at the Department of Revenue right now. This is important too. These keywords or these classifications that we have open, you can actually put these into the search field and those particular announcements will populate. So for example, right now, what season are we in? Taxes. It's time to pay the man. So we have tax examiner 1 positions, and they are exactly as what the title says. You are examining, reviewing documentation that customers submit to determine how much is owed or if any tax is owed. Customer service representative. We have call center agents, like people will call in with questions about taxes. They will call in about questions pertaining to the marijuana industry. They will call in regarding like certain things for driver's licensing. One of the new features, or something that you may see more now on social media as well as television advertisements, DMV online. There are a lot of processes now that you don't even have to go into the DMV to conduct. You can do them at home on your cell phone. We have kiosks that are located in your local grocers. There's kiosks in grocers like King Super, where you can go in and complete certain transactions. We have our entry-level technicians. Although we're moving forward into a virtual environment, we still need those people that are on the front lines, that are at the DMV offices and locations, providing information, taking information, a plethora, a wide range of services that you'll be providing to our customers. We also have, don't take Lily and Sheila's job, but we're hiring for HR specialists. So if you have any experience within human resources, doing some of the things that Lily and I are doing, looking at jobs, you have classification or compensation experience, that matters. We are hiring and we need you.
This is actually our hot job slide.
Yeah, some more hot jobs. Our administrative assistants, and do not be discouraged. A lot of our admin jobs, we have e-skills assessments. So once we've determined that you've met the minimum qualifications, you may be invited to participate in a skills assessment. But one thing that your public servant, Sheila and Lily, provide for you, if you don't meet a passing score, if we see that there are other occupations or classifications that are out there that we think that you should be considered, sometimes we'll send a follow-up email and say, hey, although you may not have met for this position, take a look at this driver's licensing technician that we have available. So we also try to reach out and follow up and give you more hints because we don't want you to be discouraged. Because I guarantee you, if you take a look, we've got a job that fits you.
Yes. So tips for success. Now, there are lots of free resources out there that can help you with some of these things. So LinkedIn, for example, it's good to join LinkedIn and create a profile, update your LinkedIn with what you're looking for, because you can mark yourself looking for a job, and then add whatever work history you've had so that if someone out there, a recruiter, sees your profile and is looking for a specific skill and you have it, they might reach out to you. And if you're unfamiliar with LinkedIn, it's a social media site for job networking. LinkedIn also has a LinkedIn Learning portion of their company. And although it is required to sign up and pay for it, a lot of libraries actually have a subscription to LinkedIn Learning. So as long as you have a library card, you can log in through your library to access LinkedIn Learning. So what's great about LinkedIn Learning is that they have courses on all sorts of stuff. So they actually have courses on how to interview, how to write your resume, a cover letter. They also have courses on software. So if you are unfamiliar with Google Apps, you could watch a video on how Google Apps work, especially if it's mentioned in the announcement that we're looking for someone with proficient Google Apps skills or maybe advanced Excel skills. And you know that you might need some learning on that. So go ahead and go on there and look for courses. Also at the library, the staff can help you complete a resume, an application, a cover letter. They can help you figure out a job site if the job site is non-intuitive. So library staff, also have computers you can check out and book a study room to apply. If you get an interview, you can also book a study room to have your interview in virtually if you have a laptop. So the library is a great resource, books on all sorts of stuff like leadership, excuse me. And then your county workforce center, they have job career coaches, they have job fairs. They can also teach you some of these similar skills that we're talking about, things like software, places like Mikasa who can help you with certain skills and have training tracks that you can join and gain the skills in. So lots of free resources out there that can help you. And then here's our contact information. So please reach out if you have any other questions. You can ask them now today, but I added also a job fair flyer that has our email on there and also has the other analysts that we work with and information about the Department of Revenue. I added a document with applying for state of Colorado job tips. So for example, if you get an interview, if you get invited to an interview, what are some good tips for interviewing? Read up on the job, the company. So if you're applying for a job for the Department of Revenue, look up the Department of Revenue. Look up what we're doing right now. See what we have, what our vision is, right? What we just talked about. Learn about your employer so that you are prepared to answer any questions about that. And also to know what, if you want to work at this employer, you want to know about them too, right? Prepare for your interview by, if you have to physically go somewhere, go ahead and map it out, see how long it's going to take you to get there. Prepare yourself by reviewing some of those interview questions on the PDF that I sent. What might you be asked? Prepare in your head, oh, if I'm going to be asked this, like have a scenario or a few scenarios in your head to kind of have that answer ready so that you're not caught off guard, really. If it's virtual, make sure you have the internet connectivity. If you're going to the library for this, make sure it's booked and that you go in before and test it. You can always test with a friend or a family member to make sure that everything's working. Let's see what else. I didn't open the tips, but I know it's on there. Have some questions ready for the interview team. So ask them things about maybe the work culture or things that you're curious that aren't actually on the announcement. And then afterwards, send a thank you note. And in that thank you note, you can actually address things that maybe you forgot to mention. They're like, oh, when you ask me that question about customer service, this other time I worked in this role and, this, that, and the other, to provide more information for that hiring team. Anything else, Sheila? I'm missing.
Absolutely. I think that is a lot. And always keep in mind that all the information that you provide, you want to provide as much detail as possible, because your application is being compared to all other folks that have applied to that same position. So as we stated before, you want to look at that preferred qualification. That's a big key. Those are things that you want to speak to, because that is the ideal candidate that an interviewer would be looking for coming in the door. Not to say that you have to have all of those preferences that's listed, but that is the top person that we're looking for to fill that function. Lily and I are available by email, not 24 hours, 7 days a week, because we work Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. with a 1 hour lunch break. That is a perk of the government. We get a 1 hour lunch break. So if you send us an email, please give us at least 24 to 48 hours to respond. We will follow up and get back with you. We can give you very general tips. We can help you navigate through some of the processes in the system with applying to the job. Not very specific, but we'll do the best that we can to help you with the process. Please feel free at any time to reach out to us. We also want to let you know that there are two other folks that are a part of our team. That is Joel Ferguson and Anita McEarchin. We'll put their email addresses in the chats, because they also post and fill positions for both the tax division. They do marijuana industry as well. Those are some other divisions that we have within the Department of Revenue. So we don't want to leave them out. So if you see some specific postings for those areas, they have oversight over those divisions. So do you all have any questions, or is it silence of the lambs? Please feel free. Anything.
I'll ask a question. Is it because it's so hard to find people available to work right now, but do you notice that there's a lot more openings right now that are going on, as far as compared to I don't know, maybe before COVID?
I do agree. Yes, we are in the era of what they say, the great resignation or the great disbanding, but there are a lot of employment opportunities. I think what is a big, I don't want to say hindrance, where I think folks have hesitation on applying, they're looking at the salary. For example, some of our entry level, positions, driver's license technician, in comparison to maybe some of our fast food occupations, restaurant industry, we may pay a little less than they do. But when you think about our benefits and our total compensation plan and the opportunity that we provide for internal training, for career advancement, you're looking at benefits towards retirement, medical, everybody, insurance is a big thing. Everybody, wants to look out for their health and well-being. So although a salary may not be what you most desire, but you have to look at the big picture. And when it comes to state government opportunities, the benefits are phenomenal.
Yes, it is an applicant market out there for those looking for a job.
Thank you very much.
So what you want to say is that the amount that appear in here in salary.
Oh yeah, you know what? I can share. Let me see.
Okay,
So we talk about how the salary is listed.
Mhm.
So here the salary is listed. It could be hourly, monthly. It really depends on what is clicked by the person posting the job. I'm gonna filter here to DOR.
I think one thing that you'll find with the DOR, all of our new hires, we're on bi-weekly salary. So you get paid twice a month versus we used to be paid monthly. So now we have a bi-weekly pay, which is good, you know.
So you can see if this number is just the one number, that is the salary of the position. And then sometimes if
Okay,
you
but
have,
sorry, but you say, for example, not 30, 35, 30, 34,000,
34,200
okay?
annually.
Is the benefit included in there? Or
Yes,
or the
your
benefit?
benefits are included in that 30.
Well, no, it's not taken
No.
out. So because we don't know what you're going to choose for your benefits, so we don't know what your deductions will be. So this is your gross pay. So it's before anything is taken
Mm,
out.
But we do offer, like, if you are at the offer stage, if you are a selected candidate, that's one thing that our supervisors and our hiring managers do. They will discuss with you the benefits. They can provide you resources as far as like looking at the compensation, what health insurance premiums may cost you. You know, if you want to go into a flexible spending account, what would your 401k? The state as a whole, I believe, is working on a web page that has a one pager that talks about all those different benefits, and you can estimate what your take home pay would be.
Mhm. And sometimes if a position has a range, you want to print it again because it tells you more. It actually tells you like, oh, well, this has the full salary range, but appointments are typically made made at or near the range minimum. So you have an idea, oh, there is this range, but really we're hiring near the minimum. So you're really looking at like 35,448. So that you're aware. That's why we ask that you print it so that you know, because we don't want you to get down the road and realize, oh, you hire towards the minimum. Well, I was thinking I could get 42,000. It's like, well, no, we had this note here to let you know that typically we hire at the minimum. So, yeah. So you do, that's why we always say, make sure you print it so you can get more information.
mm.
Good question.
I had another question. I noticed on this last job that you had remote. What's the state government stance now as far as with the unmasking and everything, as far as are you returning back to work now, or is it going to be soon that you're going to return back to work? What happens in the long run as far as maybe for the rest of the year?
Well, so the revenue like got rid of buildings so and went remote. A lot of the workforce at DOR at least had gone remote. I can't speak for other agencies, I'm not sure. I mean, nothing is set in stone, right? So I can't say like if someone decides, our executive director decides in the future that we are going to go in the office, but there are certain jobs that are remote. But even like our job, Sheila and I are remote, but we do go into the office sometimes, which is located in Lakewood. So you could always ask that in an interview if like you do have to go into the office, but we also say that too, like when you print it, like this is the address, although this position is remote, you may need to go into the office or something.
And you may also see on some of the job announcements, you might see the language that says remote or /hybrid. So sometimes when you see hybrid, that means there's a combination of the two. There may be a certain, like, so say you may have to go into the office on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you work remotely, but that will be indicated. As far as COVID or vaccinations, that type of thing, we are, as state employees, required to attest to our status. That does not mean that we have to be vaccinated, but we have to provide information as to our status when it comes to the vaccination.
Good
These are
question.
great questions, everyone. Does anyone have any other questions?
No? For me, it's okay.
Great. Well, just so everyone knows, Mikasa Resource Center does offer employment services. So if you are interested in applying for a government job and want to come into our building to start that application or go through the application, myself and one other career coach are available to assist you. And we have a close connection with Lily and Sheila. So if there's questions that come up along the way, we can make sure those get resolved so that you have the best application that you're able to submit. Well, thank you everyone for joining today. There were those 2 handouts that our presenters put in the chat. If you weren't able to get that information, let me put my email, and you can reach out to me and I can make sure that you have all that information. Or if you're looking to set up a coaching appointment, feel free to use that email to reach out to us. I'm going
Thank you
to.
for joining us today, everybody.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing